In my last video, we talked about how United States soldiers during the Korean War saw UFOs that appeared to be drawn to artillery fire. And when they were shot at, these UFOs would shine a very bright light on you, and the soldiers who came in contact with this light all got sick. Now, some believe that these UFOs were alien, and some believe that the Russians stole this technology after the German defeat in World War II. And since so many soldiers saw these UFOs, it's hard to dismiss this as misidentification or hysteria. Now, there's also another case where people got sick after seeing something that they couldn't explain in the skies above, and this one is stranger than the last. In Germany in 1665, fishermen reported seeing ships in the sky attacking each other. Not UFOs, ships in the sky. It all started when dozens of fishermen saw what they believed to be a large flock of birds, but then these birds somehow turned into a warship that approached from the north, followed by countless other vessels. Then another group of large ships came from the south, heading northeast, and the battle began. The two main ships sent cannonballs at each other, terrifying the fishermen below. The ships from the north then retreated, came back, and headed south. Then, two other fleets appeared from the west and the east, with smaller ships. And when the smoke finally cleared, the fishermen could make out the broken mast of the southern fleet, and they could see a man dressed in brown clothes who was holding a hat beneath one arm and had his left arm by his side, and this man was just watching the crew working and running around like crazy. Then after this battle, a dark object just hovered in the sky. The fishermen stated that after this epic ship battle, out of the sky came a flat round form, like a plate, looking like the big hat of a man. Its color was that of a darkening moon, and it hovered right over the church of St. Nikolai, and it remained there until evening. Now, of course, all these fishermen were scared to death, and they tried not to look at this object. And a couple of days later, they all got sick, and they all had horrible pain all over their bodies. Now, this was another mass sighting. Dozens of fishermen saw these ships attacking each other, followed by this darkened UFO. And what makes this case stand out to me is that I have covered something similar to this before. Now, these fishermen said that they saw ships attacking each other in the skies, not UFOs. Well, at least not until the ship battle was over. And this is interesting to me because in Ireland, in 950 AD, while everybody was attending Mass in a small Irish town, they heard a very loud bang. Something very big had hit the church, so the people, scared and panicked, ran outside to see what had caused this. And to their shock and surprise, they saw a huge metal anchor tied to a rope had fallen from the sky and hit the church door. And when they looked up, they saw a boat flying right above them. And it appeared to them that this boat was flying, or rather floating, on an imaginary ocean. They could see men and women leaning over this boat. Then a sailor in this flying boat jumped overboard and dived into the air. But it wasn't air for him, it was water. Now, I have covered this before, and I'll put a link to that video in the description below. But the fishermen in 1665 also stated that they could see people on the boats, which was in the sky. And this just really fascinates me, and it makes me wonder, who the heck are these sky people, and where did they come from? There is also another case that happened in Germany in the Middle Ages, and it is known by the locals as the War in Heaven. One morning in 1561 in Nuremberg, Germany, the citizens were getting ready doing their daily chores when all of a sudden they started to see objects in the skies above. And these objects, they were so colorful. They were red, black, orange, blue, white, yellow, and there was also many different shapes. Some were in the shape of a cross, or a ball, or a tube, or a rectangle, and the citizens, well, they were scared to death. And these objects, which were numbered in the hundreds, if not the thousands, started to fight each other. And some of the smaller crafts came out of the bigger crafts, which I guess we would call today a mothership. And at times, these crafts would be shot down and fall to earth. But nobody ever found one of these shot down crafts, and if they did, they never told anybody about it. Some believe that once they made contact with Earth, they just turned to vapor or steam. But anyway, this battle went on for about an hour, and there was clearly a winner, and the winning side flew back into the sun or back into space. Now, the people believed that they had just witnessed a war in heaven, and some saw it as a sign of God's power, as the people did see burning red crosses in the skies. And today, there are many skeptics that say this never happened, or that it was nothing more than a meteor shower. But here's where things get interesting. There were just too many witnesses. Something did happen that day, and every single newspaper reported on it. Yes, I know it's hard to believe that newspapers existed back then, but they did in their own style. The Nuremberg Gazette posted, "These dreadful apparitions filled the morning sky with cylindrical shapes, from which emerged black, red, orange, and blue, white spheres that darted about. Between the spheres, there were crosses with the color of blood. This frightful spectacle was witnessed by numerous men and women. Afterwards, a black spear-like object appeared." Another one wrote, "Today in odd history, an eerie battle raged in the skies above Nuremberg, Germany. It began at dawn as dozens if not hundreds of crosses and tubes fought at each other above the city. It ended an hour later when the globes in the small and large rods flew back into the sun, and several of the other objects crashed back to the earth and vanished in a thick cloud of smoke." Then we have a broadsheet that dates from 1561 that is currently held in Switzerland, and it describes an ancient battle of UFOs over the skies of Nuremberg, Germany. And it states the exact same thing, that basically on that date there was a war in the skies above the city. Now, because of all these reports, I do believe that something must have happened on that day, and I wish I was there to see it. Until next time, this is Paranormal Junkie. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and stay tuned.